Hey everybody, I'm Lydell Steiner.
I'm Zach.
And we're here to talk about the Power Ox 240. And we're going to be showing you a little bit of some of the tips and tricks, kind of quick start guide for how to use this machine out of the box. So we've just filled up the engine, Zach, and show us kind of what we need to know on it's a Honda GX
120, I believe.
120.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so once you put fuel in it, there's a red switch in the front. It says on or off. You switch it to the on position. You'll come over here to where the carburetor is. You'll turn the fuel on, and then also turn the choke on. And you'll give it a few seconds to let the fuel run down into the bowl.
And just keep in mind, we just put the handlebars on, so it's never been ran before. And that's
correct.
If it's been ran, it may not need to have all that happen, but because when we assemble these units, we drain the fuel out.
Yep. On first startup, this is what you'll need to do.
Okay, got it.
Then, once it should be ready to fire here, just go ahead and pull it. So you let it run a few seconds with the choke on, and then turn it off. You'll hear it start to smooth out, and that's it.
Okay, very good. So now we have the unit back here. Here's your throttle, okay? So you can change the throttle a little more, a little bit less. And then I'm gonna do just kind of show you how to run it. So we have a little lever below the handlebar here that you're gonna pull back, and it's gonna engage the tire. And yes, we didn't lock down the handlebars, so that would happen.
Whoops.
Let's do that here.
Little safety tip.
All right, so safety tip 101. Make sure the handlebars are locked, okay? And then you can do what I just did, okay? So I have it really slow right now, but what you're gonna wanna make sure is that when you go, it engages, and when you let go, it stops, okay? We're gonna show you here in a little bit after I shut it off how to make some adjustments on that, but it's working as I would want it to work. All right, so we're gonna shut that off, and to shut it off, just come up here and turn the knob to off, okay? All right, well that worked almost perfectly.
Yeah.
Not quite, but almost. So, so Zach, that's the starting process.
Correct.
And that was the operations process. The other thing I wanted to mention, I'm gonna spin this around so you can see it. You're gonna notice back here on the handlebars, there's two engaged levers, okay? One on each side. You can pull one or the other, it doesn't matter, okay? So when I'm running it, I'm usually have one hand pulled to one side and the other firm around here. I would not try to pull both, okay? If you try to pull both and you let go, you have to let go with both hands, where now you can keep one firm, okay? That's one important thing to note there, okay? So spinning back around here, oh, maybe while we're back here, sorry, Brant, let's look down here quickly. This is the hitch piece, and so what you're going to do is you're going to pin the hitches for the Power Ox in here. And so you're going to pull this out. Power Ox hitch goes in. And I just wanted to point out, if you're going to give me those 3/4-inch wrenches,
yep.
These bolts here are designed to be able to be adjusted. Okay? So you can adjust them in or out, depending on how much what I would call sway you want. So the more this bolt comes out and the more this bolt comes closer, it's going to minimize the sway of the tool. And so this is designed for it to be adjustable. If you want more sway, you're going to turn the bolt in. If you want less sway, you're going to turn the bolt out. And so just keep that in mind as you do that. And then make sure you have two 3/4-inch wrenches when you do that, so you can then finish tightening down the two locked nuts. Okay? So we're going to put the pin back in. And maybe the final thing I want to show you on camera, at least, is we're going to pull this shield off to the side here. So it's going to take a 1/2-inch wrench or 1/2-inch socket.
Yep.
And this shield over here is for the engaged pulley. So ideally, you do not need to make any adjustments here or make any changes. But if you do need to make adjustments or changes, this is where it'll be. Once we are in here, you can see the belt. And when Zach pulls the engaging lever, you're going to see what happens. It engages and pulls that belt up. Now, one thing to note is I have my hand on up here. You should not do that while it's running for sure. But the shield itself creates kind of a down pressure here. Okay, so the shield itself kind of rides and does this, so it holds the belt flat, and that allows it to hold loose on the drive pulley when it's not engaged. Okay, so if there's any adjustments that need to be made, whether it's driving, it's too touchy, it's driving too much, you can loosen this bolt here, and you can adjust the travel on here. Okay, I'm not sure how to all explain that, but in other words, if it's too tight, you would want to loosen this up. If it's not engaging at all, you're going to want to tighten this up so the spring engages. All right, Zach, pull one more time so people can see that. All right, so there's a little bit of a spring there to give it a little bit of tension, and you can make that adjustment there. All right, we're going to be putting the shield back on over the belt pulley, and Zach has some pro tips for you on that.
All right, so when you're installing the belt shield, to ensure that the belt doesn't grab on this pulley or chatter, you'll want to set the height. To do that, you'll look at the pulley here and the shield, and I usually leave about an 1/8-inch gap. You can see it's moving the belt. So you get about the 1/8-inch gap, and it makes sure that it's not touching up here. And then also, it will make sure that the belt isn't slapping back here. So
okay, let's put those on. Yeah, and I've seen some customers in the past where this has been a little bit of a unclear point that is good to have clarification. So where do you want that, Zach?
About right there.
All right, right there.
And you don't want to over tighten these too much because they are a speed nut and you can break it.
So usually a wrench would probably almost be best in that situation. Okay. All right. So yeah, that's just important to note that this is more than just a shield. It's not just a safety seal. It's also, it helps calibrate the belt.
Correct.
So as long as you know that, then you'll be more aware of when you're working with that piece. Okay. While we're down here, can we just take a quick look at showing you how the kickstand works? You pull this up, and then you can put this back in. So this is the kickstand. Okay. So kickstand up, kickstand down. Okay. Well, as we wrap up the Power Ox 240 and some insights into the unit, I want to make sure that you're clear there is an owner's manual that comes with it in the crate, and also the Honda engine manual as well. There's some greasing that needs to be done below these panels. We're not going to do all that, but those instructions are in here. You can also oil the chain to keep it lubricated, keep it clean. And any insights into the engine and fuel?
I'd just say after you're done running it every time, make sure you turn the fuel valve off to keep from fuel running down and filling the bowl or the cylinder. And for off-season care, just put some Sta-Bil in there and to keep it from varnishing.
Okay. One other thing that we have had happen in the field, very specifically, is if you're working on hillsides, sometimes the unit may want to shut off. That's related to the Honda engine safety sensor for the oil level. And so there's ways that we can address that if that is an issue that you would by chance run into. Again, if you have any questions, you can reach out to Tilmor. Thank you, Zach, for helping us walk through the power unit itself. And yeah, check us out, tilmor.com. Have a great day.